If you learn nothing else from this video, learn this. Take your income and then right below it, write 40%. That's your new savings rate. Everything else below that, make it work. According to MarketWatch, even many upper class are seeing their six-figure income slip through their fingers. The Nielsen study found that 1 in 4 families making $150,000 a year or more are living paycheck to paycheck, while 1 in 3 earning between $50,000 and $100,000 also depend on their next check to keep their heads above water. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about if Dave Ramsey's baby steps are any good. So if you're not familiar, the baby steps are 1, save $1,000 as an emergency fund, 2, pay off all debt, 3, save 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses, 4, invest 15% of your income into retirement, 5, pay off your kids' college, save your kids' college, 6, pay off your house, 7, build wealth and give. Regardless if you go with Dave Ramsey's baby steps or another financial plan, regardless, it is important to get on a plan because the average saving rate of Americans is 7.9% in 2019 as opposed to the 1960s where it was 11%. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am an avid Dave Ramsey watcher. I consume a lot of his content, but the baby steps aren't necessarily for everyone. Honestly, I think baby step 1, 2, and 3, $1,000 emergency fund, 2, pay off all debt, 3, 36 months emergency expenses, are where everyone should start regardless of where you currently are financially. Because in those steps, you are working for your money. You are paying off debt, you're saving. But where I differ from Dave Ramsey is Dave Ramsey on baby step 4, where he says invest 15% of your income into retirement. I think that that's where the baby steps stop for people that are more financially or investor mindset. Because according to Dave Ramsey, he thinks all debt is bad debt. So let me give you an example of something that would be considered good debt. So let's say you buy a business that's valued at $200,000. Well, that business over 10 years is going to continue to pay for itself. And let's say it's making enough to cover its payments. Then you make a little bit, isn't necessarily enough for you to quit your full-time job. But let's say it's an e-commerce business, so you can do it, in the evening. It's not necessarily going to be a full-time kind of thing. So you're making your standard income plus extra income from the business, but the business itself is paying for itself. So after 10 years, you have a business that's now valued more than $200,000. Let's go ahead and say your sales have gone up. So you have a $250,000 asset that you got for free. According to Dave Ramsey, he would advise you against that because all debt is bad debt. I'm going to say this again because I don't want to get this mixed up. Pay off all debt and then have 6 months of emergency expenses just in case something happens. After that, I think it's very important to start investing in real estate, buying rental properties, finding good growth mutual funds, getting heavy into the stock market, finding ways to have your money work for you, as opposed to strictly having to go from your 9-to-5 job every single day until you're 65. But who says you want to wait all the way until you're 65 to retire? Maybe you want to retire when you're 45, or maybe when you want to retire when you're 50. The beginning part of the baby steps allow you to learn how to spend less than you make, and then after that, you have the financial tools to be able to go and increase your wealth through investing. Now, let's be honest. Dave Ramsey has a radio show and he is preaching to the masses. So he can't go and pick and choose by specific situations based on an individual person's knowledge of the financial psychology. So like I say with a lot of other things when it comes to your own financial plan, as long as you have a financial plan and stick to it, it's going to be a good plan. Because let's be honest, if you're coming up with a financial plan, you're researching, you're forming your own opinion, you're finding something that's going to work best for you and your family to get to your goal as quick and as steadily as possible. Because my wife and I, we have followed Dave Ramsey's plan. We follow the baby steps 1 through 3. We saved $1,000 emergency fund. We were gazelle intense at paying off our debt. And then we saved 6 months of emergency expenses. But at 29, I'm worth $200,000. And that is not because of Dave Ramsey's plan. So whether you decide it's best for your family to do the baby steps or do the debt avalanche, whereas you pay off the highest interest debt first regardless of the balance, and then you work down from there, or you're taking bits and pieces of financial advice from Grant Cardone or from Graham Stephan, as long as you find a plan or form your own opinion in your own plan, it'll work. I know someone's going to have some comments. Comment them down below. Catch you next video.